Hello, Craftin buddies. It's late night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Craftin, coming to you just a minute or two after midnight here. So technically it's the 29th, but this is intended to be the 28th. So we'll just pretend I was a couple minutes earlier. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me see if I can get my devices caught up to me. We'll make sure that I have some sound. And hopefully I can watch if anybody comes live with me and follow along with any chats that we might have. I do have sound, yay. And then let me just put a quickie welcome message up here and we will get going. Excuse me, there it starts already. The little initial cough. All right, so hello, Susan Johnson from Australia. You've been here before. It's been a little bit since you've been here, but welcome back. I am going to do just a quickie couple of housekeeping announcements. Stampin' Up! Has a couple of things going on, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention them a little bit. So Stampin' Up! Is going to start doing a virtual craft class. The first one is going to be October 23rd. They are available for purchase, so it includes a PDF. It does not include the product. So if you want information on that, let me know. World Card Making Day is October 4th, which is next Saturday already. I can hardly believe we're almost done with September. So this is a free event. It's virtual. Hey, Juju. If you're local to me, I will have my studio open from 2 to 5. Our time, the event will run from 3 to 4-ish. There is a kit that they're going to be working along with, but if you don't have the kit, not a big deal. Watch along, come over and play along with my my studio supplies if you'd like to. Another quick announcement is this advent calendar. This is available for purchase already. I am waiting for mine to be delivered. I think it will come. I ordered it the first day you could get it. So I'll have to check my delivery notifications, but it might be here by like Friday. So I'm anxious to see what's in it. So this is a big book. You can kind of see from the proportion of the hands that it is a good size book, probably about like this big. And when you open it up, it's twice that size. So that'll be pretty cool. And saving the best for last, Stampin' Up! Has this awesome join offer. If you are in the United States, you can join with me. The first offer is $125 worth of product for only $35. That includes whatever product you want to pick for up to $125. You will get free shipping. You will get some business supplies if you want them. And you will get a free paper pumpkin kit. Alternative number 2 is $189 worth of product for only $99. Juju, Fifi was kind of doing some math on this yesterday. And depending on somebody's interest here in the United States, at least, the difference between these two, you're still getting $90 worth of free product. But if you're not getting a bigger ticket item, I'm still wondering if the $35 offer would be better, because then your subsequent orders go to meet your minimum purchases, and that goes to continue your discount. So we'll see what comes about of that. So let's get down to business. I am kind of winging it, kind of casing a card from Stampin' Up again, or maybe 2 cards, we'll see. And I brought in a variety of colors because I'm going to focus on the Elegant Pine Snowflakes and the Delicate Pines bundle. There's 22 dies in this die set. So some of these dies will cut out the images, and the images on the front are much smaller than what they seem. So this die here will cut out this big. I should probably find a dark piece of paper so you can see better. I'll get something here. Hold tight. I'm working on it. All right, so hopefully you can see this. So this big snowflake here will get cut out there, and it cuts out some of the designs on the designer series paper. So even though you'll go through your paper or you might not want to order the paper, you can still use the dies with the stamp set. All right, so I know somebody might have asked me about that recently. I don't remember who it was, but they were asking about, can you still use the die after your paper's gone? So yes, you can. So this die will cut out this one. This one will cut out this. So this one cuts out those branches. So these dies will cut out all the things and then some. Okay. So I already cut out some things, and I haven't really decided exactly what we're going to do, but I think I'm going to go easy and warm up first, casing a card from the online samples. And basically we're going to use a piece of cardstock. Now, I think they've created, they being the Stampin' Up concept artist, I think they've created it using a note card size, or maybe because it doesn't look like it's big enough to be a slim line. So I think they did it like on a note size. And we are going to use this Warmest Winter Wishes sentiment. And I'm going to use the crumb cake because I think that's what the sample shows. I'm going to follow this kind of closely. And I noticed my picture again on screen for me looks a little elongated. On my camera, it looks fine. And I just wonder if it's from my wireless mic. It might be. Well, maybe I'll test it tomorrow and not put in the wireless mic. All right, so we're just going to start randomly stamping this Warmest Wishes along. Let me get rid of that little piece of lint. We're going to just stamp that along this card. Hopefully I will get them mostly straight. I suppose if I go like this, I might be able to eyeball it a little straighter. It's hard when I can't put my head over it. A slimline card is, oh, let me think what the measurements are. It's like if you did, this is 8.5, and I think it's like 7.5. I've never made one on my own because I figure I don't have Stampin' Up envelopes to go with them, but it would basically be, let's go, if we did like 3.5, let's do 3 3/4 because that looks pretty good. I'm going to score it at 3 3/4, and then I'm just going to fold it over and I'm going to cut off the extra here. So basically you only get one card out of a piece of cardstock. And that's about how it looks. Now it would go into like a number 10 envelope because it's 8.5. You might have to cut it down just a little bit, but like a regular business size envelope from the United States. So that's a slim line. And I'd have to look up the measurements there. I've seen them written down before, but it's just not a card that I do. So like I said, you'd have to do like an envelope out of designer series paper, or maybe dress up a regular business size envelope. But that would be a slim line. So it's kind of like a bigger, you know, the note card size. They're basically like 3.5 by 5 when they're folded in half. So this is just a bigger note card kind of, I guess. Hopefully that makes sense. And on the sample, it's just got these going back and forth. Do you want me to zoom this in at all, or are we good? Oh, you're welcome. All right, so there's that part. And then I'm going to do a little different from what the sample shows. Oh, I just lost my snowflake. Whoops. I'm going to just stamp a couple of snowflakes on here too. Just because I think that adds a little something. We'll do another one over here maybe. There, that's probably enough. All right. So then the next thing they've done on here is take like a snowflake from the designer series paper, and I used this one. You can kind of see where this came right out of here with that die. So I just cut it right out of my designer series paper because I was going to be lazy. And then I took another piece that there's another die for. To die for. So here's the die that did that one. And then this die here cut out this snowflake. And I'm just going to pop that up on some dimensionals and put it right on top of that other snowflake. I think the sample online shows some other sprigs that they die cut. It shows that they did 3 little sprigs. Let's see. I'm trying to see where it would show from. It might have been some of those. I don't see the exact shape, but it's like these bottom sprigs here, so it might be there. I bet it's that one. Yes, it is, as a matter of fact. So they used this die to cut out like these pieces here. If you can see that, just that little trio of sprigs. I didn't feel like going to that much trouble. So, oops, that one's already done. I should get my take your pick tool because I always have better luck with that. All right, so I'm going to lay this down. I think we'll go the opposite direct. Well, no, I kind of like that one. So that just gives it a little lift. You probably can't notice a whole lot online, but on the video, I'm just going to glue this down. We had our granddaughter this weekend, but she and I did not have time to do a video. We went to an amusement park up in Green Bay yesterday and spent a lot of time there. And she had a blast. It was definitely worth going. She had a blast, but we were kind of tired afterwards. And then today, what did we do today? We played some games and Papa took her to the park. She's a very active 7-year-old. She likes to run and do the monkey bars, and that's not so much my thing. But Papa doesn't mind taking her there. And we play, board games and stuff with her, card games. So, yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. We ate not good for you food all day and had a good time. It's not like we do it every day, so. And then I'm just going to randomly put a couple of other snowflakes on here. I cut a bunch of them out because I really wasn't sure what I wanted to use. And I've got some little ones too, so it's not going to take a whole lot. And I think this will be done. And the sample that they did online does not even have a different sentiment on the front. It just used the warm wishes. And it looks like some of mine might be a little crooked. So either make them crooked on purpose or put your head over it so you can see the lines better and line it up. For my sample, I think it'll be just fine. Did you do a live tonight, Juju? I think that's enough of that. So then the last thing I'm going to do, and this card is going to be done, I'm going to put some of these iridescent faceted gems. Now I did look, these are still a current item. They're available online. I don't know if they're in a catalog or not, but they are available online. And I think that works really well with the whole snowflake theme. And then I suppose I could try to spritz some Wink Stella. You didn't have to work today, I hope. So it gives you time to be crafty. We'll get some, it's going to be hard to see, but I'm just doing a little bit of Wink Stella there. And then we'll put a little bit of shimmer here because everything looks a little bit better with some shimmer, right? So I kind of have my clusters. I've got my 3 embellishments. Oh, I'm glad you didn't have to work. And then I've got 3 snowflakes, but then I have 2 other layers here. So I've got a 5 and a 3. All right. 5, 6. Well, I've only got 6 of those, but who's going to know, right? What do you think? That's it. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. But I really like it. I think it's really cute. So then let's see. I don't think I could do another one here and kind of case theirs. Oh, I should put those away so I don't get them lost. Oh, this would be pretty. So let's take, I'm going to set this off to the side. So this is card number 1. We'll put that up there. Move this off to the side. We are going to take a piece of this dark paper, and I'm going to show you this stuff in just a minute too. We're going to take a dark piece and we're going to cut it to, we've got 5, I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/4, and we'll do 4. Because that's a basic layer for us here in the US at least. And then I'm going to find another piece that is a lighter green. It's more of an abstract, if I can find it. I might have to open up a second. Oh, here we go. You can see I might have to open up a second package of cardstock, but I got it. So I'm going to make this the same size. So let's do 4 and 5 1/4. I might need to trim these down. We'll see. And then let me get this paper out of the way. I was going to use some of the wood grain paper that I have. We'll see. We'll see. And then we're going to use, I think we're going to use shaded spruce. Let's see how that looks. I don't use a whole lot of shaded spruce, so I think I need to use more shaded spruce. And I'm actually going to go with this side because that's going to pull out. I don't know that I like that though. Let's try a different green. I don't think I like that one. That one's better. We'll just use the flip side of this. I should have looked at that first. All right. We'll trim this one down to 4 by 5 1/4. I think that dark layer, I might trim a little bit smaller because I want it to show a little bit more because they're going to kind of be canted a little bit. So I think I'm going to cut them both just a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to cut that dark one a little bit smaller still because that'll show up a little bit better. Actually, no, I think that might work. I just want a hint behind there. And I think what I'm going to do too is I'm going to gut this out a little bit because I don't have very much of that design left. So let's just take a little layer. That's going to be too big. We'll take this out of here. We should be able to use the little one for that. So I just need my 1 plate and my 2 plate. And I can't really angle that too much. So I'm going to have to probably fight with this a little bit. I try not to put the straight edge of my dies leading through the machine because a lot of times you have to really kind of force it through. It wasn't too bad. But if you lead with the corner, if you have them angled just a little bit, it works better. All right, so now this piece I can save and use for something else. Sometimes I'm pretty frugal with my paper. Most of the time I'm not. Not that anybody would probably be inclined to deconstruct my cards to see how I made it, but you never know. All right, so let's go ahead and burnish this. So this is just a regular card base, 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. The sample that I'm working off of is actually landscaped, but I'm going to do it this way. And we're going to go ahead and put those together. I'm just going to start putting a little bit of glue under here. Because I don't want too much. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Okay. We're getting there. And we'll just put a little over here. A little bit over there. Susan, I'm just looking over the comments. I'm so glad you love the classes. I enjoy sharing stuff, whether they're original ideas or case from Stampin' Up or case from somebody else. I think it's just fun to share. And I like it when everybody chit chats during the live also, so we can share ideas and make the cards turn out even better. So that's going to go there. Now, you might have noticed I pulled in this ribbon because we're going to try to make this look like a Christmas package. What do you think of that? I cut a little generous with that, but I'd rather have enough than be short. So we're going to go ahead and here, just going to flip this over and we're going to put some seal. Let go. I'm going to put some seal here. And let's see if that's straight enough. Actually, it is good. So then I'm just going to put some tear and tape on there because I like that little bit of insurance that it's not going to come loose. I mean, I trust the seal. The seal is very strong, but you just never know. And this one's going to come over here. And we're going to do the same thing. I think I finally gotten pretty good at doing my seal. I can tell you that was a little bit of a learning curve from the snail. And I used to really love the fast fuse, which a lot of people didn't like, but I really liked it. All right, so that's going to go there. And then we need to have the ribbon that they show online is not ribbon that I have. I didn't order it. So they've got just a nice little knot in here. So I think that'll work. What do you think? And then we'll trim this like that. And then trim this one down a little bit more. No craze tonight. Nope. Sal is not here anyway. I saw she had announced that she was not going to do her normal live tonight because she wasn't feeling well. So I didn't know that ahead of time. But no Cajun craze. There. Does that look like it's even now? Because I think what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of maybe a glue dot under there. It looks like the ribbon is going sideways. So I think I'm going to do something else. I'm going to put a glue dot under there. Let's see if I can get this to comply. Sometimes it works for me and sometimes not so much. But that worked. Because I want that to be pretty even. Hopefully that's all right. So maybe if I do just a little bow, a knot this way. And then I can do a glue dot on there. I think that might be better. I think that'll work better. And when I have a knot like that, I like to put my glue dot on each side of the knot rather than on the knot, because then it doesn't work like a fulcrum point and wobble all over. It stays pretty steady. All right, so we'll do something like that. To whoever gets it there, it's going to look like a knot. So I'm going to put this up on some dimensionals, I think. And in fact, I think I'm going to use my strips, the adhesive strips. We'll get this raised nicely. And that'll just give it a nice little lift. off of the card base. You can tell I'm not big on measuring if I don't have to. I just kind of eyeball it. I got that one a little long though. We'll just snip it off and we'll put it in the middle. Put a couple of them there. And that'll keep it from sagging a little bit. All right. And we are close to done with this. We just need to figure out what we want to put as far as fun stuff on the front, like branches or pine cones or whatever. Make sure I've got it opening the right way. And I am doing the best I can to make sure that that dark layer is straight. All right, so that's kind of fun. And then we can do, whoops, sorry. I hit my little microphone there. I don't know. So these are from the Designer Series paper. And with that white outline on there, I'm not sure that I'm really a fan of them. But we could also do a couple of these pine cones. Those might look more realistic. But if I take, let me go get my blending brush for my crumb cake. I'll put crumb cake in the pecan pie. Because then what I think I'll try is we'll do some ink blending on those little pine cones and see if I can make them look a little more how I want them to. I'm just trying to get a scrap piece of paper here. And I'm gonna, where did my snail go? I'm just gonna put a little bit down on here to hold those in place for me. And we'll just try to put some crumb cake all the way around here and see how that looks. If that makes it look a little less fake. What do you think? Do the DSP pine cones look better or the die cut ones from here? These two put together make that. So this piece is from here, this one's from here. So this is a delicate pines. And when we put them together, it makes kind of a fun little pine cone. So DSP pine cones or the die cut pine cones. I think I know what I want, but we'll see what you ladies think. And then I need to find some pine boughs. And I'm going to use, I'm not sure what they use, but I'm going to use a snowflake. And I'm going to do, I think, old olive. And see how that looks. Get rid of some of my debris here. So far, my desk is staying kind of clean. It's been 2 days now. I think 2 days, something like that. Let's just cut this a little bit smaller. probably close that ink. Oops. Get some plates. It always surprises me at how quickly the time seems to fly by when I'm doing my videos, because it's already been 40 minutes, which just seems crazy. So this is kind of intricate. Hopefully it cut through all the way. It might not have. There we go. But then I've got some little pieces here too that need to come out. This is kind of the putsy part of crafting, is when you have some of these little tedious tasks to do. But I am kind of a putsy stamper, so it suits me usually. Except when I needed a card like 5 minutes ago because we're going somewhere and I need a card to take with. Then I need to be a faster stamper, and that doesn't always work for me. All right, so I'm just going to break that off of there. And I'm going to break this one off of here. Let's see if any of these come out. These are the ones that didn't cut through quite all the way. Probably because my plate is warped. So let's see if I can hide that. So what if we did like this? That'll work. Put that away. I'm just going to cut one of those. We'll see how it looks. Susan, what are the seasons like by you? Do you have like do you have snow? I'm thinking you don't have snow. You have cooler, but not necessarily snow. Oops. Oh, and my leaf, my pine bough tipped over. Wanted that on the other side. So you can see that I kind of prefer the die cut pine cones. There we go. We'll do another one of these. We might have lost Susan. Oops, I wanted to put that on the back of here. I gotta pay attention. That'll be all right. Let's get the little embossing buddy, put a little powder on there. Dry up that glue. That's fine. That'll be fine. Now I have to wipe that up. I'm just having a hard time here. I think I'll put that one on top of the ribbon. See if that'll stay. I might need a dimensional on that instead. We'll do a dimensional instead, that'll work. I still kind of want that tucked in there. And then let's go ahead and wipe off the glue. And get my pine cones out of here. And then let's see about a sentiment. The sample has celebrate the season. The sample used this one, so I think I'll just use that one. I'm not feeling super creative. And we're going to emboss that though. We're going to put, I think I'm going to use gold embossing because this is from the Paperly Pear set, but I think with the shimmer in there, I think the gold embossing will look good. So let's go ahead and take this with some Versamark. I do need to go get my gold embossing powder though. I have my embossing gun, my heat gun, I mean. But I forgot the rest. So let's do this again. I think I want to do my embossing buddy on here though. The gold, if I get any speckles held on here by static, is going to show up a lot, I think. I'm going to move it out just a little bit, I guess. Just let that sit on there for a couple seconds. All right, cover. Now there is a little smudge as far as I'm concerned right here on the C. Normally I would use a brush, but I think the brush is gonna make it worse. So we'll just use that. And then I know I have my reverse tweezers. So we'll pick this up. And I like to heat it from the back because then you can see all the magic. And it just occurred to me I'm missing one of my lights. Hopefully you can see that changing. And if you heat up your gun, it usually turns pretty quickly. And then let's go ahead and trim this down. Go here. And I'm going to flag these ends. But let's go a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to eyeball it to where the center seams-ish. And then we'll go from corner to the center and from corner to the center. And that's still a little long, so I'm going to trim some more off of here. And we used to have a gold cording. That's still kind of big, isn't it? And I think maybe I want to trim that a little narrower even, because it seems kind of thick for what we're doing. That's better. Looks a little bit more in proportion. And let's use these trio die or punches. I forgot what these are called. Hole punch assortment. We're going to use just the circle. And we're going to make a little circle right in the corner. I probably should have had it in a little bit further. And then we'll use we'll just use some white baker's twine. And then on the inside of this one, I think what I might do is do double layers like this. Actually, I could probably cut this down and maybe offset them a little bit and then put a white layer in there for a sentiment. Maybe I don't even really need that, because we could just tuck that in there and trim that off. And we're almost done. Just going to put that whole strip of mini dimensionals on there, and then a little bit of glue just to hold that end down. That kind of is going off the edge just a little bit. We'll just do a flatter flag. That'll fit in the envelope now. All right. So let's see what kind of embellishments we want on there. Maybe the clear ones here. Do you believe there's a mosquito in my studio again? Haven't seen those for a little bit. These strawberry slush and pretty in pink gems, they have like glitter inside. They're kind of fun. All right. Card number 2. Done. And then let's see. So here's the 2 so far. And then I need to find, trying to think what paper it is. There's a nice little background. But I kind of used up all my, we're going to stop at these 2, but I'm going to show you this felt. And then I think I'll do the 3rd one with the pine cones tomorrow because I used up a couple of my pieces that I wanted to use. And I'd have to cut out more pine cones like this because I used 2 on here. I need to do a couple more pine cones and a couple more of the snowflakes and sprigs. So I'll do that one tomorrow because we've been here almost an hour, believe it or not. Time flies. But I wanted to show you this fun new product that I got. And this is, it's velvet. And it comes in 3 colors. It comes in the, I don't know if it says, it just says green, red, and white. So I die cut them. They cut really easy on the trimmer. What I usually do when I have a textured side like that, like if you're doing glimmer paper or anything, I turn it over. I don't know that it helps, but I turn it over and then you can just cut right through it. So it cuts really well. You can see how soft this is. If you guys could feel this, this is just, it's a really nice, creamy kind of velvet. All right, now you can emboss the velvet. So this was from the white, all right. I put it through the Peaceful Garden embossing folder and got this. And then I used my brayer. I just picked up some pretty peacock and I put the pretty peacock on with the brayer. Now you can see, oh, my brayer is a little wet still. So you should be able to see, let me zoom in a little bit here. You can see where my brayer, I rubbed a little hard. So you might want to just practice on a little strip like that. And either that or, you know, you could strategically place some snowflakes, you know, if you have a place like that on yours. But the other thing is you need to give it time to dry. All right. So when I did this right away and I kind of rubbed it on here because I wanted to see if it was going to rub off, it did. All right. So then I took my heat gun and I had it at the number 1 setting. So we've got, I mark mine. I need to put a new label on here. But there is a number 1 and there's a number 2. So the 1 is when you're drying ink. The 2 is for your powder because it gets hotter. So I just used the heat gun to dry that off. And then by the time I had let it sit a little bit, let me get another piece of white so you can see. It's not coming off anymore. So it just needed a little bit of time to dry. Okay. So if you're going to do a project using the velvet and you want to ink it at all, just make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to finish your project, so that you've got drying time. All right. And then you can see I've got all these little die cut pieces. Look at these. These are gorgeous. They turned out great. They cut as clean as paper did. And I was really surprised because the die goes down on the velvet side and then there's paper backing. I was actually hoping that was adhesive paper, but it's not. So you might want to put some adhesive sheets on there, but these all cut so nice. And there's even here, you can see where there's a cutout for the leaves. Hopefully you can see that. Here, there's a cutout for the leaves where it goes through, and that cut clean through. So these cut super nice. And then there's also some little berries that I cut out, and I don't know if you can see, but there's little dots in the middle of those, and those all came out nice and clean also. So tomorrow we will be doing something with all of these little poinsettia pieces, and these poinsettias here are from the Delicate Pines. Must be this one. Yes, this is the one I used to make the poinsettia. All right, and then with the Label Me Grateful, this stamp set obviously just has the sentiments on it, but there's the Label Me Grateful dies as well, and there's a poinsettia on there. And then there's a berry sprig as well. So that's where these came from. All right, so these are from Label Me Grateful, and this is from the Delicate Pines. All right, and we'll play with that a little bit more tomorrow. I'll get some more snowflakes done ahead of time, and we'll make something. We'll make something hopefully very pretty. And if I can get my act together, I'll try to get on here a little bit earlier because starting at midnight makes it go a lot longer. All right, so this is the All Season Velvet 12 by 12, 12 by 12 specialty designer series paper. And let me back up a little bit. Whoops, wrong way. There, now you can see it. All Season Velvet 12 by 12 specialty paper. So you get 6 sheets, 2 of each color, and they're 12 by 12. So those are really quite nice. All right, so we'll play with that tomorrow. I probably won't use this for anything but a sample. And then here's our 2 cards from tonight. So thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the company. And let's just go back here. And say good night. Happy crafting, everyone.